The other day I was chatting to one of my coworkers about my travels and how I was going to go away for 6 months, and she looked at me and she said, that would be so lovely. And I said, why don't you do it? If you want to travel for 6 months, go and do it. She said, I can't. You might be able to, but I just couldn't. And she walked off. And it sort of hit me. I was like, of course you can. Of course you can. I mean, I think we all end up having these blinkers on, saying that we can't do something because it's something that we've been told, or we've been told that we don't have enough money, we don't have this, we can't do it, and we give ourselves excuses. And I'm sort of, in this video, going to go through a lot of my thought processes and how I've gone about actually setting up for this trip. So we're kind of getting to the tail end of it all. I've got 16 days until I go. I've got 7 more days at work. I've got a temporary housemate coming in. I'm going to sublet my place. I took a whole bunch of crates and clothes all to my brother because he's got a little place, he's got a little garage. So I did that. Everything's sort of definitely coming to a head. I do want to talk about how I've gone about and actually set this trip up, because this is something I've never done before, and this is something that I honestly feel like a lot of people should do. And I'll break it up to little categories. The one thing everyone wants to talk about is money. How am I going to pay for this holiday? How am I going to sustain myself? Actually, people don't even get to sustaining themselves because they don't even get to the idea that they're going to go on this trip. I'm going to talk really quite honestly and candidly about my savings, how I've saved, how much money I'm going to actually be taking and things like that. Before I got my job at Acme, I really wasn't earning much. I was using or doing my own production company, and I think I was getting like $30,000 a year, which is not that much. But the funny thing is, as soon as I got a job that actually gave me a little bit more money, I realized that it gave me like almost $20,000 more per year. And because I was only working there for 7 months, I basically halved that $20,000, $10,000 more than I would be getting from my previous job. And I knew I could live off the money that I did at my previous job, and I got this better job which was giving me a lot more money per year. So all I had to do was not use any more than I actually did for the previous 2 years. That's how it worked. I put that $10,000 straight into this trip. I always figured that $10,000 was going to be my amount that was going to get me through. So first things first, I am going for 6 months, right? If you're going to go budgeting for a whole trip, you might want to start breaking up the trip into segments. So the first segment of my trip is going to be Australia. So I'm going to go through Queensland and all of that. And then secondly, I go Timor, then Indonesia, then England, then the States. So that's like 5 or 6 different stages within this trip. Now, what we also have to do is look at your major expenses. So my major expenses along the way will always be flights and will always be accommodation. So first things first, I got all my flights. I didn't spend too much money on. I'm just going to do some calculating and work out exactly how much I spent. First one was Melbourne to Sunshine Coast. It's $139. Plus my flight from Darwin to Kuala Lumpur, which was around about $450. Then I got a flight from Kuala Lumpur to Dili, which transited through Denpasar, I think. So I think that was 170, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, around 170. Then I got a flight for $455 from Jakarta to London. Then I got a flight for $295 from London to New York. So $1,500 for flights. I'm still going to have to pay for roughly $700 for a flight back from LA to Melbourne. So if I plus that on here, that's $2,200. Okay, so flights, done. Accommodation is the next big thing. I think that no matter where you're going, the best thing that you can do is look for stops along the way where you can spend time with people that you know that are overseas. So a lot of places in Dili, I'll be staying in a hostel. In Indonesia, places like that, I'll be staying in a hostel. But a lot of the other places, I'll just be staying with friends or just somebody that I know through somebody, right? So how you find friends? I guess you can put a call out on Facebook. Does anyone have a couch in London? Does everyone have this? If you're not precious about where you sleep, which I suggest you don't be if you just want to go out and see things, then sleeping on someone's couch sounds like a great idea. Outside of that, I'm looking at having roughly $5,000 for all my food, all my entertainment sort of stuff. And yeah, hopefully I will be fine. I've got travel insurance, so if anything goes wrong over the 6 months, I should be fine. You know what I think it is though? I think it's more than just this money aspect. Like, people aren't just afraid to travel because of money. I think it's something else as well. Now, I may be wrong, but I feel it in myself, and I've seen it in lots of people around. People are afraid of change. At workplaces where people stay there for 20 years and they're not happy. I see it where people don't have ambitions. They just have security. I see it where people are stable as opposed to being happy. And I all just think it's because we're afraid of change. We're afraid of really getting out there and doing something different. It creeps in and it's uncomfortable because you wanna be safe. You want everything to be fine. But the more I live, the more I realize that feeling, that whole fear of the unknown, ultimately is growth. Like, we don't grow unless we literally change things up. This wonderful person who was saying that they would love to travel as well, I honestly just think they're a little bit scared of change, a little bit scared of breaking outside barriers that they've set for themselves, or just stepping out of their comfort zone, to be honest. There are two types of going overseas, I've noticed. It's a holiday and travel. When you want to travel, it's kind of like living in different places. When you want a holiday, you want to be pampered, you want to go to the hotel, you want a spa, you want a foot massage. You want things that you don't get outside of, your normal life. I propose that when you want to holiday, you don't necessarily need to go anywhere. You could book a hotel down the road, save yourself some money and get pampered. I honestly just think you should pamper yourself up once in a while, and you probably wouldn't have that need. I think when you want to see places and experience new things, you should be willing to sacrifice a little bit of comfort. Like staying in a hostel, staying on someone's couch because it's cheaper and it allows you to see more. I think you really have to boil it down and go, what do you want? Do you want to be pampered? Then get pampered. But if you want to see the world, then there are ways you can do it. And I don't think you need to make the excuse of money when it's actually not that expensive if you set your mind to it. That's probably enough of my ranting about it. Excuse my room. It is like a bomb has hit it right now. I did a lot of the packing up, ready to take to my brother's place, and literally just cleared my whole cupboard out and left a lot of just the stuff that I'm going to travel with. But yeah, 16 days left. I'm going to keep uploading these weekly updates, these episodes each week. If I don't have Wi-Fi, the video hopefully will still be edited, just not uploaded until I do get Wi-Fi. So I guess just keep checking back every Tuesday. If it's not there on a Tuesday, I'll try and make an update on my Instagram, which is just there. That should be a cool thing to follow along. And then I'll still keep updating hopefully every day on my story. Do check that out. I think it'll be like a companion piece to this vlog. Just a final word that I want to say before I go. If you're watching this right now, and if you watch me throughout the next 6 months, and there is a trip that you've always wanted to take or a project you've always wanted to do, I sincerely hope that this inspires even just one person to stop that mental talk in their head that they can't do this until later, and that they just go and do it now. Book the flights, plan your trip, plan your project, and do it. It is the most exhilarating feeling, and I promise you, No matter what, you will feel more proud of the decision you've just made than anything else in your life. See you next week.